now for the Detroit Tigers. They brought back Justin Verlander, 1 year, 13 million. I would expect this to be Verlander's last year. Give him that swan song in Detroit. You know, I think he's somebody who will have his number retired by both the Tigers and the Astros.
Yeah,
because of how incredible he was for both teams.
Agreed.
Maybe this will be the storybook ending to a Hall of Fame career. But Verlander's also said he wants to pitch till he's like 50, so who knows? They also brought in Framber Valdez, starter, 3 years, 115 million. Kenley Jansen, a reliever, 1 year, 11. Kyle Finnegan, a reliever, 2 years, 19. Drew Anderson, a starter, 1 year, 7. They traded for Johan Simon from Toronto, a reliever, but they lost quite a few names. They lost Alex Cobb, a starter to free agency, who's still out there. Tommy Kahnle, a reliever in free agency, he's still out there. Rafael Montero, reliever, he's on the Yankees. Randy Dobnak, pitcher, he's on Seattle. Jose Urquidy, a pitcher, he's on Pittsburgh. Chris Paddock, one of their starters, he's on Miami now. Jason Foley, a reliever, on San Fran. Paul Sewald, another pitcher, he's on Arizona. Andy Ibanez, he's an infielder, he's on Arizona, or the A's, I should say. And then Alex Lange, we just talked about him, he's on the Royals now as a reliever. So they lost a lot. So what is the Skubal, aspect of this, where there's a lot of rumors about will he get traded? Could he get traded? How is that going to mess with the roster and their team and their heads? Because a lot of guys don't like hearing their names in trade talks. It doesn't allow them to really focus on the present.
We had a similar conversation last year about the Padres. And I remember you and Ben very much so thought that the Padres ownership and some of their players being up for trade was going to be a problem. And I didn't feel that way for the same reason that I don't feel that way about Detroit, because this team is a playoff caliber roster with World Series upside. And while I don't think that the Tigers' success is built for a massive, strong 162 where they're winning 100 plus games and they're the 1 seed in the AL, I don't think there's any denying that this team's built for playoff success. As anti-American as Tarik Skubal is, you're not going up against a team that's got a better starter than him in the AL playoffs. That is an automatic massive advantage. And now the rotation is better. Framber Valdez behind him is elite. And another really strong lefty. Some ballparks, that's not favorable, but most it is. And most teams going up against two strong lefties to open up, not a great spot. And then, third game, Jack Flaherty. And if a fourth game, I'm not betting against Verlander as the 4. And listen, it'll probably be Mize, but Verlander at the pen. Now, listen, this bullpen does need to get a little bit better. But these are moves you can make at the deadline. They might just bring back Tommy Kahnle. If they brought back Tommy Kahnle, I'd feel much more confident about the bullpen where it stands today. I like Jansen. I like Vest. I like Holton. Kahnle, you could bring him back. And then I look at the lineup. Torkelson, could he take a leap? Gleyber Torres was really solid for them last year. Javi Baez kind of had some good runs in there, which is kind of the most you could ask for. Carpenter, Green, Meadows. I like McKinstry. This is a team that the lineup is good enough that if they get to the postseason, that starting pitching is so nasty that no team could overlook them, and they could go on a run.
And I feel like out of all the teams in the AL Central here, they have had the best offseason out of all of them and made the best moves, in my opinion. They've added the most pieces to their team. That is going to be impactful.
Getting Valdez.
Just with Framber Valdez, it just makes
massive.
your team 10 times better.
And again, I envision this team being buyers at the deadline. And there's been a lot of rumors about the Padres. If Manny Machado's available, Detroit should pick up the phone. Because if you add Manny Machado to the heart of this lineup, all of a sudden that World Series ceiling seems much more like just World Series contender.
It puts you on that level, and that kind of brings me to what I want to ask next is Detroit's offense is what seems to me what separates them from the rest of the contenders. they have an elite pitching staff,
Mhm.
but their offense, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, talked about Glaber, Javi Baez. You got a prospect in Kevin McGonigal, who's really, really great. Do they have enough right now to compete with some of the best offenses in baseball?
Yes, because of their pitching. So I don't know if you mean compete when we look at the lineups or compete in a game.
In a slugfest, can we see them out slugging the Dodgers or the Blue Jays or the Yankees or even the Red Sox?
I'm going to go with no currently. If their starting pitcher is getting lit up, they're probably not winning the game, to be quite frank. Maybe we see Torkelson take like a massive jump and all of a sudden he's like top 5 in AL MVP and he's hitting 40 bombs and he turns into Pete Alonso. And then I kind of change my tone on the matter. But where it currently stands, nah. If they're in a position where they're having to score 6-7 runs consistently to win, I don't think so. But I also just don't envision them being in that spot.
But then again, adding a guy like Manny Machado, like you said, I think puts them now in that conversation.
Then you start to feel like they're one, albeit pretty close to premier bat away, but they're one big acquisition away from really being viewed. Right now, I think they have World Series upside, but I wouldn't call them a true contender.
Right.
If they had Machado, I'd call him a true contender.
I feel like just through 162, I feel like there's no doubt, like with what they have offensive wise, they are a playoff team. I feel like they're almost locked in to be a playoff team. And if they make it to the playoffs, I think just that 1-2 punch of Skubal and Valdez, I think can get you pretty far. Because I think pitching
so
wins.
Nasty.
Because pitching is like king in the playoffs. So I mean,
yeah.
Because I mean, if your starting pitching is doing good, all you need to do is score 1 run, and then if your pitching can help you, I mean, shut them out. Like it doesn't matter. So I think they're about
that's why
fringe.
they went toe to toe with Seattle, who went toe to
Yeah.
toe with Toronto, who went toe to toe with the Dodgers. I mean,
as of now, they're fringe World Series contenders.
agreed.
But they're still contenders all the same.